I think now I'd like to go back and kind of clean up this hood and fender. This happens to me quite a bit in that the first object I create on a larger project like this, I go back and take a look at it and I don't particularly like it. I don't think it fits in with the rest of the models. I feel like it's a little too choppy. It really doesn't connect well with the cab. Oftentimes that first object or two within a project is kind of a warm-up for me, and I'll sometimes wind up going back and completely redoing it. But I don't think we need to do that here. I think we can do some tweaking and get it to fit the cab a little better, and maybe even clean up some of this blockiness around the curve of the fender. So let's do a little cleanup here. I think what I'm going to do is tab into edit mode, and first of all, before I do anything, I'm going to align these a little bit better to the cab. I then want to extend this down to right down here. I want to extend this part down to finish out the fender. But before we begin on that, let's try and align these a little bit better. I think what I'll do is grab these edges here and maybe this edge here. And I think I'll use the proportional editing tool and kind of pull them out a bit. If I go to the top view, let me take a look here. Let's bring back that top reference image and see what we can see here. Yeah, it looks like it just needs to come out a little bit here, and this needs to align with the cab there. Let's go to the bottom view with Control Numpad 7. And here we can see this right here needs to be in better alignment. So this needs to come back and just connect with this right here. So actually, this is a pretty good view to begin with, I think. So I'm going to come up here and turn on the proportional editing tool. You can use the shortcut O. And I'm going to make sure connected only is turned on. Now what I'll do is I'll hit G and X. And let's then move this out some, like this. And then I'm going to expand this a bit, like this. Now I don't want to see how the outside of the fender is moving as well when I go too far. I don't want to move that. Just want to kind of move that like this. All right, let's see how that worked. I'll go back to solid view, and we're getting there. That's good, but see how all of these are kind of out of alignment now too. So let's begin by just grabbing a couple of these and pulling them out. I'll go back to the bottom view, Control Numpad 7, and wireframe, and let's begin by pulling some of these out. So I think I just want all of these to align a little bit better. So I'll hit G and X, and I'll kind of pull this out. Maybe expand these just a bit, like this, and maybe this one, GX. Maybe we can pull this in a bit. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm just grabbing these, using the proportional editing tool to kind of align these a little bit better. Like this, GX. Maybe align that a little bit better like that. Yeah, so I'm just trying to get a straight line here, that's all. Using this proportional editing tool. So something like this. Let's see how this looks now. Let's tumble back around. And yeah, we're getting there. I think I might want to pull out one of these, like this one here, G and X. And pull this out a bit. Like that. This one could probably come back in now. Like that. Yeah, so we're getting there. Let me grab this one here. There we go. All right, so I think we've got that a little bit better lined up now. Now what let's do is grab this edge and begin extruding down. So I'll go to the side view here, and I'll go to wireframe, and let me grab this and kind of, let me turn off the proportional editing tool. I'll hit the O key, and I just want to bring this one straight down like that. Okay, so this is a good straight line we have here. That's what we want. We've got that seam right here. You see that right there? That's what I want to create. We don't need all of these up here for now, so I'm going to hit the C key and middle mouse button, click and drag to deselect those points up there. So we only have these edges on the sides selected. And then I'm going to begin extruding down to create this. Once I've got this all extruded down and in place, I'm going to come back and split that edge. All right, so let's hit E, and I'm going to click, and I'm going to hit G and move it down to say here, like that. And then I'm going to scale in the Z, S, Z, and flatten these up, kind of like that. There we go. I'll move this back up to this corner right here. And then I want to begin scaling these in and maybe extruding these down as I go. So I want to scale from, say, this point inward rather than from this point here. So I'm going to select this and move the 3D cursor here, Shift S2. Now I'm going to border select all of these points here. And then I can change my pivot point to the 3D cursor. Now you can also hit the period key on the keyboard, not the period key on the numpad, but on the keyboard to get that same menu, and I'll go to 3D cursor here. Now let's scale in the Y with S and Y. Bring that in like this. So I just want to look at this right here, this curve. Then what I'm going to do is deselect this point right here and scale in some more, S and Y, like that. And then deselect this point in S and Y and scale in like that. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm trying to match these curves, these lines here as I go. So maybe something like this, and then deselect this one, SY, bring this in like that. There we go. So we've got these aligned right here, right? All right, so now what I'm going to do is border select these, and I'll hit E and pull these down to say right about here. And let's do it all again. I'm going to select this point, Shift S2, border select all of these, and do it again, SY to there. SY maybe in just a bit. These actually look pretty good here. So I think I can just extrude down again. I'll border select all of them, hit E, maybe come down to about right here. Once again, move that point, Shift S2, border select, SY, pull in, deselect that, SY, pull in, right? And it actually looks like if I select just these, I kind of need to push this out. So SY, and I'm going to push it back out like this. There we go. And then one last one, I think. Let's hit E, bring it down to here, like that. Move the pivot point, Shift S2, hit the B key to border select, SY, scale in just a bit. And I think that just about lines it up. Let's see how we did. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Let's see how it looks from a distance. We may need to get this piece lined up just a little bit better. Maybe I'll grab this, switch the pivot point again. I'll hit the period key and 8. There we go. And I'll move this in and move this in. There we go, something like that. Maybe even move this in a bit. There, just kind of tighten that up.